Hey, are you gonna make the one that I sent you
Of
last?
course. Yeah, of course I'm gonna do the one you sent me. I'm actually gonna send you what this looks like in color because I think you'll really like it. The thing you picked.
Really? Oh, I was so upset that I didn't have colored for that
Yeah, I'm
image.
gonna send you what it looked like.
Oh, I'm
No
so
pre-reading 1044, absolutely,
it's
because that we're reading
holy
live. That one's
shit!
live.
Congratulations, Momo. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Momo. I want to tell you that just like the Eggman, who had started off with a struggle, I ended up
The
really liking you. You're a good kid.
Just like the Eggman. Yeah.
It's right.
Who's the Eggman?
I am the Eggman. He's not the walrus.
You mean Peanut?
No, he's not the old peanut. My hard-boiled friend.
Oh, there's a man in One Piece who literally turns into an egg as his power, and the Eggman is Senor Pink.
Heard me? The dude who was an egg? F his bees. What is he? Bleh. I'm an egg.
God. You are
Senior Pink is hard-boiled.
We're so back, ladies and gentlemen. We're so back.
If you want to be known as the Eggman, you got to do more than just be an egg and a man.
If someone's devil fruit power was Peanut, you would not call them Peanut.
God, no. Oh my God. Can you imagine someone's devil fruit is peanut and all they do is attack people with peanut allergies?
I feel like there's a lot you could do with a peanut power.
Tell me, Squishins, my little squishy squishersons, what the hell chapter did I start on? Because I watched some shit this week, so I can't even remember. 987? I'm a goddamn hero.
Okay, let's talk about 987. Let's do it.
The little peanut man is just so hardcore in this one.
I just can't get over.
The little old peanut man?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, that's his name. You're correct. But I just want to skip ahead to the part in 987, so just stick with me. Black balls. You know what, Zeus? I'm not happy with you and what you did with Nami, but she was big to forgive you. So let's just put that on the side right now.
Hey, can I be real about something?
I have a lot of opinions on this, so yes, you can.
I don't blame Zeus. The offer Zeus was given was be my slave. I don't blame the man for not feeling a lot of loyalty.
I do see that. She didn't really treat him like a slave, though.
No, she treated him like a little buddy, but did say, you'll be my slave, which, that's language that I'm not cottoning to, Nami.
Yeah, literally not cottoning to, since that comes from slave language.
God, you're right. I didn't realize that when I said it. No! Every witch needs a familiar. So true, actually.
I like the way she did it this time way more than the way she did it last time when she was like, no, and then Zeus or Mr. Fluffy was really, really crushed, and then she's like, yeah, how about you just be my bud? And then Zeus was like, oh my God. I am very, very glad that Zeus is going to be staying with us when I thought that Big Mom was going to pull Zeus back, which makes sense. Like, it is a piece of Big Mom's soul. I was like, no.
But instead, she was like, you know what? You might be a piece of my soul, but you're the bad part of my soul. I'm going to get a better Cloud.
You're the part I don't like. I'm going to have this part instead.
Let's be real, though. If you have the choice between a normal Cloud and a Cloud conjured by an emperor made out of dragon magic, that's the better Cloud.
Oh, 100%.
Like, Hera is a better option. I'm sorry, Zeus, but like, it's kind of like if there was a magma storm made by Akainu, Prometheus is out of a job, right? Big Mom's gonna take that.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I was really happy to have the Dogstorm Three Musketeers back on the land, but I was even more happy to have them do it under a full moon, because let's be so for real right now. Their like full moon in it is good. It is good drawing. It is good development for their nation. It is good. I know that we're not allowed to talk about it yet. I love when Momo is taken off his little cross, a literal cross, because it crosses in the middle, and he falls down to between the king and the queen, because it felt very metaphor-y. And I love when he is rescued, but more even though because Sanji has to put on that uniform again. So now I'm wondering what is going on in Sanji, because we've talked about this before, like how your leg on fire. And then dude says later on, hey Sanji, Do you have a touch of the made by robots like Franky?
Well, and Queen is also like, you're not a Lunarian. How do you do that? That's
Exactly.
not natural.
Exactly.
And
Oh, which also made me be like, a Lunarian can light itself on fire?
Okay. So Lunarian, the implication there is that's what King is, because King can light himself on fire and he has big black wings. So there is a common theory that is yet to be confirmed that mink DNA was used to give whichever one of the brothers has lightning powers. I think Niji lightning powers. And that Sanji has a small bit of Lunarian DNA spliced into him, which, if true, I think would be a confirmation of your theory that he's part demon, which isn't confirmed yet. But if it turns out that's true, I would give that to you, because that's a creature with black angel wings. That's a demon. That's a fallen angel.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's definitely a demon. Yeah.
If it turns out there is Lunarian DNA in the boy, which is not confirmed, but it is a common fan theory, I will give that to you.
Okay, excellent. Because I was going to say, he doesn't have a touch of the Franky. So if he doesn't have a touch of the Franky and he has a touch of the Lunarian, then in my opinion, he would have to be counted as a demon, and you just confirmed for me.
Okay,
so I was like,
we're there, we're in it, yeah. What do you think of Lunarian for the name of King's race?
Yeah, that's freaking amazing. When I first heard it, I was like, Lunarian. So do these people who are demons come from the freaking moon? Are they the people who got in the fight that we show on the written pieces? Is that's why they're calling them lunar?
It absolutely could be, because we know there were winged people on the moon. We just didn't see any pictograms with black wings. We all saw the white wing shades of the Birkins, Shandians, and Skypians.
Exactly. So if he has wings that are that big, are all the other different races of winged people kind of descended in some way from either heaven or hell type things?
Yeah, it's so cool how many of your theories are being touched on in this section, huh?
Yes, I was like, this section for me was just full out fun. I was like, oh. So I'm hoping that it's a whole like Lunarian moon thing, and that the moons, the people who were of the moon, and the fight that we saw on the moon, that we, you know what? I always think about this when Eminem was on the moon and he was looking at that as a panel on the cover about how he had his head cocked to the side like a dog. It made him seem so sweet and incapable of just murderation. He's capable though. And so I thought it was very, very interesting, because when I saw this, I was like, oh, sweet shit. Are we going to find out that this dude is actually part of the original moon demons? Is that what was up on the moon? Was there a fight between two different groups with wings? But if he's a Lunarian,
if he's part Lunarian, I'm gonna, at the very least, it's a shroom star. But like,
and I think it is.
But then you also will get a shroom for saying he's part dragon.
I think he is going to be Lunarian, and I think it was activated when he put this suit on, because he said, I feel different ever since I put this suit on. Almost like that part of his blood has now been activated by wearing this suit, because maybe the suits of his people are meant to activate the best parts of yourself, or the most weaponized
even if they're not built for it, the one Judge made could have just been programmed like, this'll undo what your mother did.
Maybe, because he's feeling different now. And so I think that we're going to see some stuff because of this. I think we're going to find out that more parts of Sanji are going to be activated, and he's just going to be even better with powers than he used to be, because it's going to have turned them on in a bigger way. So when Sanji directly fights King, I was like, F you, King. Sanji a big boy. And it was so good to get to see my Sanji fighting big characters, because King would have been like a over-the-top, ridiculous, difficult one for Luffy at points. And so to watch Sanji get to do this and get to see him step into his bazillion berry reward, I was like, yeah.
Like, King is in theory the same level on Big Mom's crew as Katakuri was for sorry, on Kaido's crew as Katakuri was for Big Mom, meaning that like this is his right hand man, this is the strong guy.
I'm so excited by this. This whole
no, we're not power scaling. It's not about powers, it's about how the powers match up. It's not about who's stronger.
How you use your powers. and what they do with each other. Moving on.
Do we want to just, since we brought up Sanji, do we want to cut to the scene we both loved, or are we going to go in order? What's your thinking?
You know what? No, I don't give a shit. Let's cut to things.
Delete your art. Oh, no.
Bastards. So we were looking at Sanji here. I love that whenever I watch him put this thing on with his cool haircut, which turns him into a 1980s boy band boy, I really feel I'm looking at a flock of seagulls every time he sticks on his number 3 uniform. But I love that we start talking about like the ways in which he's changed and how he becomes this. I think it kind of like turned on parts of him that were either latent or kind of like medium weak, and then it's going to strengthen him. Then all of a sudden, when we see him in the future, we get to see one of the coolest parts of Sanjiism that I think I've ever seen, because it really shows kind of like not only a commitment to who he is, which is really cool, but also a recognition of the strength of Robin. So when he gets kidnapped by the black spider bitchy girl, I like her spider though, because you know spiders eke me out in a big way, right? Like,
and hers is a big cartoon happy face.
Yeah, hers has a big happy face, but even when I look at her legs on that thing, I can't. But even though Black Maria is like the grossest spider ever, but kind of sexy in a spidery way, they make fun of him and they're like, call her now. And you're like, he's not going to, and he's going to get his ass kicked because he's in a room full of women and they know his weakness, which is too bad. And you're like, this is going to suck because he's not going to allow another woman to get hurt. And that's what made this so amazing, is because you know that who he is. He's like, no, I'm not going to allow another woman to get hurt and blah, blah, blah. But then you could see that all of a sudden he realized, well, he was getting the shit kicked out of him. What the shit is wrong with me? I'm not going to allow Robin, who is so incredible at fighting and is so strong and who has earned my respect as an equal crew member, to come in and fight this person that I won't fight. And then he says, can I just say one thing? And then Black Maria is like, yeah. And he's like, Robin, help me, rescue me, right over out loud in front of everyone, which is also making sure that every single person in the building hears him having this moment when he is the person who is asking to be rescued, and everyone is going to make fun of him, and he knows that, and he doesn't give a shit, because he says to himself, that's not what matters here. What matters here is that this spider bitch is attacked and I get out of here, because there are things that have to happen, and we have people in danger, and I can't just sit here with my pride and die. And so when he calls in, I love how Oda recognized this as something that was so impressive by having Robin immediately feel such deep feelings for Sanji because of what he did, which almost then kills it, because he can't help feeling absolutely blown over by Robin's love and friendship. But it was incredible. I thought that was one of the coolest parts of this whole rooftop thing that I'm on.
I have actually seen people hate this scene and make fun of Sanji for it, and I think they read One Piece like an ordinary battle shonen, where what they always want is for him to break his virtues, for him to be pushed past his limit, but instead he gets over his flaw. Because what makes Sanji strong is his resolve, the fact that he has values, and even when they're inconvenient, he stands by them. And I disagree with his values, but I think it's admirable how much he cares about them and how much it's important to be the kind of man he wants to be.
Yeah, I think his values are stupid. But I admire that he has them and sticks with them.
His convictions are important to him, and he realizes in this moment that his choice is to either fail his captain, or get over himself, or abandon his virtues. And he chooses to get over himself, to not need to take on everything himself, to ask for help and to receive it. Robin feeling so appreciative because her friends need and rely on her and can count on her, and they're not just there to protect her, but they can see her as someone that they can count on to save them, is beautiful.
Well, the other reason I thought it was more than just getting over himself is it almost seemed like an awareness when he was like, Robin fighting a girl doesn't break my values. And me recognizing that Robin is super strong doesn't break my values. And me recognizing that Black Maria is strong doesn't break my values. I'm not saying I'm better than a woman. I'm saying I can't hit a woman.
Also, Sanji in general has an issue of not valuing himself, of seeing himself as not worth thinking about. So this moment of Sanji seeing himself as being worthwhile enough to think about as a valuable part of the team, understanding that he is someone who means enough that Luffy went out of his way and derailed the mission to save him. Luffy going out of his way to save Sanji is why Big Mom is here. So if you don't value yourself enough to save yourself and survive Sanji, all you have done is cause Big Mom to be another opponent we have to face. So
exactly.
Unless you can value yourself enough to recognize that you're worth saving and ask for help, you are only hindering people by what your contributions here. So I think it's a really beautiful moment.
And it was also impressive because he realized I am a strong person and I add value to this crew. I know what's going on with Kinemon right now, and I'm not going to be able to fight this woman because it goes against my tenets. So I need Robin to kick her ass because I got to get out of here. So Robin needs to rescue me and I got to go to Kinemon. And I was like, yes! I actually had a little stopping point when this happened, and when Robin came in and thanked him, I was like, shit, this is a good moment. I love this for all of us. Big Mom is terrifying, eh?
Getting to see her in actual combat, like, Kaido feels scarier at first because, yeah, he's faster and stronger than Big Mom. But watching a battle that's a team fight, I think people undervalue how terrifying Big Mom is because she's attacking 3 places at once all the fucking time. Constantly. There are 3 places she is on the battlefield at every moment of this fight, and that's fucked. Like, yeah, Kaido is faster and stronger than her, sure. But he's not 3 places at once.
Exactly. So many times people will be one-on-one fighting her and then realize like Prometheus or Zeus would be off in the corner absolutely wreaking havoc on somebody else, and they'd be like, shit. Like she is wild. Also, I'm rest in peace colored version, because things like getting to see Franky in his FRU with my bone boy up on top slamming into her face and the frickin' colors that come off of that. Ugh, I'm gonna miss that.
Franky,
I have loved Brook. I have loved Brook in this. In fact, I have never been more in love with the Straw Hats than I have been in this battle.
I think, unironically, there's only one Straw Hat who's underwhelming in this section.
Okay.
His name is Usopp.
Okay, but I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
But can I just put out there that he's been chucking out seeds left and right and causing. He's can I just finish my idea? Because I thought the same thing. But then I kind of feel like Usopp has been DPSing.
Like he's the hunter here who's constantly taking care of the ads.
Yes. And that he's been using like progressive damage over time. And as when he fights, his damage per second is kind of what's taking place. He's putting seeds into things, literally, and sharpshooting them in so that it's actually continuing to hurt people over time. And so then when somebody else goes to attack them, he's taking the damage, he's taking their life down by a lot on multiple fronts.
Oh yeah, he's essential. It's just like, I feel like everyone else is having a clear role in big moments and a problem that feels very weighty to the plot. But it also feels
like everyone else is taking on more like one-on-one fights. I feel like he is the only one who's like spreading the damage out amongst many.
Yeah. He is right now the warlock that we've told to take care of the ads.
Exactly. And so when I was watching him, I was like, true dat, he's not doing one-on-one big battles, which is too bad because I was a little surprised. But then I started to think about his contribution overall. And I was like, he's taking our dumpling chick around and making sure he's safe, and at the same time putting out damage per second. And he's got all these different things going, and he is assisting on so many fronts. Like Jackie says at the end scene, he's like 3,000 assists.
I will say, it's hard for him to feel as cool because when we're talking about a support Straw Hat in this moment, Brook comes off better.
Brook is supporting, but he also is doing a lot of one-on-one fights. Brook is coming out hard in this.
It's a good section for Brook. I also want to say,
it really
talk
is.
about major assist points. Come on, Tama, right?
Oh, but her power is evil.
But she's still a little girl who sailed out on her own to a stormy island, ripping dumplings out of her body to the point that she was in agony.
Do not get
fight
me.
a war.
Do not get me wrong. Tama is killing it. She did more for the fight than almost any of them. She flipped so many people.
Well,
but you got to admit, this chick has a slave fruit.
Yes. But I mean, granted, it's not supposed to be a slave fruit because it's not supposed to work on people, but Kaido done fucked up.
Exactly. If you switch that many people over to animals, she literally entraps their minds and forces them to like her and follow her. That's terrifying.
But like, it's so good. And this also highlights why numbers are important in One Piece, because you see situations where it's like, does Franky struggle with a gifter? Not at all. But it makes it really hard to fight the strong guy if there's 15 kind of strong guys bogging him down.
Exactly. No, I thought she was incredible, but I also was like, first of all, you know how I feel. Ew, gross. And second of all, I was like, God dang, if you gave that thing to anybody with evil intentions, that is one of the most heinous powers ever. Her powers wear off, primed, but we still got that horse chick out there following her around, and it's been a hot minute. So like, and her dragon pet, does she keep giving him food and all the other animals, or do they just decide to
they
like
explain
her?
how it works at the end, and Oda makes it retroactively slightly less evil, but it is still fucked up.
Well, I think it's because he realized, holy shit, I made this one of the evilest things you could possibly make evil on this sweet little girl.
Okay, so it has been confirmed to the person who asked that it doesn't work on real Zoans, it only works on Smile users. However, I have a question. Does it work on Sea Kings?
Are you claiming that they are fish?
Well, if it works on Sea Kings, it's really bad. That's so fucking powerful.
Oh my god. Drock, you know what you just put out there?
What?
A real issue.
Yeah, because like if it can, that's basically the power of the Poseidon.
That's 100%. And so if Tama was captured because somebody understood the level of her power, then you're talking about a real potential to have a Poseidon the weapon and a Tama the use come head to head.
I feel like the theme of sea negating devil fruits would prevent it. Maybe, but we don't know that. We think so, but who knows that? But
that's a really big
doesn't
question.
usually negate devil fruit abilities. No. Novicus, you're misremembering. Seawater did not actually negate the zombies. Salt did because of myths about salt being a purifying agent across the world. Salt fights the undead in mythology, which is why that worked. It was any salt, not seawater. There has been no devil fruit that's negated by seawater. There's never been a devil fruit that if you're hit by it, you cure yourself by going, no, because I'm telling you, seawater didn't cure it. Getting hit in the chest with seawater or swimming with your breath held wouldn't get rid of Moria's fruit. Seawater does nothing to it. It's only by ingesting the salt that it does something. What I'm telling you is that worked because they're undead. We have never seen a devil fruit in the series that being submerged in seawater after being affected by it negates it. It has literally in the series never happened. And I'm not talking about someone using a devil fruit having their powers shut off. I'm talking about someone who's been hit by it having it be deactivated by seawater, because that's what you're pitching. You aren't currently pitching that Tama herself can't use her power if she's in water. You're pitching that someone affected by it would be cured by being in water.
This is an interesting thing for the future. Like a really interesting thing for the future, because if I'm Kaido, I would be like, who is that little chick who enslaved everyone?
Child? Who's this lost sassy child?
Because I'm gonna want that kid. Oh my goodness. Okay, fascinating. All right, let's move on. Later on, that little Peanut man, by the way, he does grow up and blow up, hey?
Yeah, Peanut got a glow up on account of his youth returning to him from a special magic disease.
And getting so big. I had no idea that he had that ability inside of him. Like, I kind of hoped, because if we're going to be honest, like if this was his, popping off, that's not a very spicy bottle of champagne. So I was glad to see there was more to him than meets the eye. You know what I loved is the numbers.
The artificial ancient giants.
They're so ridiculous. They kind of reminded me of the dudes in the basement down in hell.
Oh, the awakened Zoans in the basement?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except for stupider and brighter colored. And just like
I don't think they're stupider than the awakened Zoans, because those were already like they were mindless.
Either. Oh my god, where the wild things are. Yes. That's exactly what it is. That's why I love them. Like when they came on, I was like, the numbers are adorable. And they also kind of reminded me of the monsters in the house monsters. Like they would be friends. I know they haven't given me any reason to like them, like, good reasons, but I enjoy them. Go numbers. They do get hurt. It's not a good day to be a number. And Robin, when we were talking back in Dressrosa about the shitty use and how Pika sucks and doesn't use his devil fruit very well? Robin has become so imaginative. Like when she rolls Bigmom like a bowling ball, her and Jinbei are there, and then Jinbei throws a Bigmom like a bowling ball, and then Robin uses her fleur to like pull her along and flip her down. That's so good. I was like, Robin, every single time I watch you, you do something more phenomenally awesome with yours. She uses her ability to the max.
I'm going to be honest, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, I expect that because Robin keeps getting better. Unlike, I don't know, Pika. Queen's giant dinosaur is so adorable. It makes it really upsetting when he does things like eat Luffy or when they do things like that because you idiots aren't going anywhere. And then they start to eat Luffy. And I'm like, you're just so adorable. It really upsets me that I have to watch you do terrible things. It's kind of like the numbers. I don't like it when cute things hurt things. It upsets me. But I do have to say that Queen is so far one of my very favorite villains.
He's such a good henchman.
Queen and King both. Like, we've seen some henchmen that I've been so effing disappointed that I've been like, you're so boring. You're so milquetoast. But Queen and King are just enjoyable as shit. I also really love in this how as Luffy is just trying to get to the fucking roof, which takes a long time to get to the goddamn roof. I just loved that at one point he just looks at his crew when they're all standing together and he has all his crew around them and I'm looking at them in color. And we've got our we got old Jim there now, and I'm just like, God, I love these guys. I just love them. And they're all standing there. It's the Straw Hat crew. Guess this isn't going to be that easy. Just gotta get up. Okay, one more time. Are those all flying devil fruits? Damn. And they're all just standing there as a group together inside of this one panel. And it's so epic. And I teared up. And I was just like,
it's been so long since we saw them together, but it's so different than pre-time skip where there was uncertainty when they were split up. And now it's like, yeah, of course we're back together. We're the Straw Hat Pirates.
Exactly. And it's gorgeous. And then right under it, the greatest thing happens that shows who Luffy is as a leader. I'm going to go up and take out Kaido. You guys handle the rest and watch my back. Just like, without thinking, does not have to worry about his crew. He's just like, okay, I'm going to go up and take on an Emperor of the Sea who nobody wins against. You guys just take care of 20,000, 30,000 people.
Exactly. We're talking about what a menace Bigmom is in a fight. Looking at how prepared they were with an answer to all of Kaido's attacks, I think that the 9 vassals could have lasted a long time against just Kaido because they had prepared responses to everything he was doing and were keeping him on the back foot. I genuinely think if Bigmom wasn't there and hadn't have shown up, they could have held out until Luffy got up there.
Yeah.
But, dealing with Bigmom and Kaido at the same time is what I would call a tall order.
A ridiculous order. Then we have CP0 in the background being like, what would happen if we had both emperors go down? And I'm like, are you on drugs? Like, yep, that would be crazy. But like, okay, who's coming in? Are we getting someone added to this fight? Like, that's a tall tale. Have you met Big Mom?
Like,
have you seen this dragon?
mm-hmm.
Although,
It's interesting to
my
see,
boy,
though.
did glow up and age himself to 28 to become an also big dragon.
Something else that I find kind of interesting about the fight is it really looks like from their power set, Kaido is really just geared towards 1v1s because a bunch of opponents frustrating him and blocking and redirecting his attacks actually seem to work pretty well. Whereas Big Mom, I think, handles herself in a group fight better than Kaido because of how omnipresent her attacks are.
She has 3 different places that she can fight from at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
she can take to the air or the ground.
So in a group fight, she can't be pinned down as easily.
She also has things that can be pulled apart and then pull themselves back together. Their soul can be put into just one piece and then made bigger again.
Mm-hmm.
So she has a different level of caring for herself. Also, Kaido loves himself a 101, and that would be why there had to be 8 red scabbards, because it makes sense that it doesn't just take a lot of people to fight him, that's also just not his fighting style.
Yeah, he was trying to do all these things to clear it out quickly, and they had answers. They used the scroll fruit to redirect the blast breath, or Kinemon was able to cut through it. They were keeping him frustrated enough that they were able to keep handle it. Don't get me wrong, I think they definitely would have lost, but I think they would have held out for a lot longer.
Yeah, I would agree. You know what makes me mad is I like Hawkins, and he's just kind of pissing me off.
Look, it's the same as me liking Apu. They're not good guys. They're just kind of likable for us for some reason.
I don't know why I like him, but
Again,
I do know that
I like Apu, but I just
when he gets into the fight where the guy is like, "You only have 2 left," and he's like, "That's true." But asking how many I have left is not as important as asking who they are.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, "Say what you did. You are terrible, and yet also well done." I don't know why. I just like Hawkins. I just got to. He's just got something about him. It was kind of amazing to see Luffy get to move in and out of Gear 4 in a very different way than he used to, where Gear 4 burnt the literal shit out of him, that he would go into Gear 4 and then just be like, and that's me for a long, long time. And I feel like his recovery is quicker again, which we knew would happen, and his haki is increasing. But it's nice to get to see Luffy come to his larger levels and know that doesn't mean that that's it for him. Now he has to go have nappy zones. Also, let's just take a second for the Oh My Family Gang Beige year after 26 years of pleading, his first hug as a father. Chapter 991. That, my man. I was so happy to see that. I actually stopped reading for a little while, sat on this page, and was like, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea in celebration with you, dude. Aw, sorry, Numbers, you got owies. Now, having said the thing I said about Queen rocking, one of the dirtiest things I've ever seen is him just chucking viruses out into the floor for everyone.
Oh,
that's one of the grosser things I've ever seen.
Queen is his own worst enemy. He does so much damage to his own cause here by being like, fuck it, everyone dies.
I got a great idea! I'm gonna shoot all of you!
Yeah, and then saying things like, well, you don't really matter because you're not going to do this, and we don't have any more fake-ass smile-ass fruits to use on you, and so therefore the best thing that you could do for us is die. I was like, you've done so much damage there, because even if anyone who didn't become one of the waiters or the smilers, gifters, even if they hadn't have seen it, if somebody else had seen it who hadn't been in any of those places, or if anyone hears about that later on, you're less likely to get recruits, because people are going to be like, no, I heard who you are. Like, the very best thing you can do as a bad guy, and I will stand behind this, and it's why every bad guy who feels this way, I'm kind of more afraid of, is you can treat your crew like gods. If you treat the people that work under you as gods, the type of loyalty you will get from them is inconceivable, because you give them a place to focus their hatred. So if you can give people a place to focus your anger, and they know that they have been respected and backed up,
well, so
they're going to fight to the end of the earth for you.
Someone's saying, imagine if Dofi had treated Bellamy well, and true, that is a thing to think about.
Exactly.
But what I want to talk about briefly is every villain in One Piece seems to have something you can do to be treated above and beyond as worthwhile by your captain. For Kaido, it's be strong. Like, he
Yeah.
values strength so much that Luffy, an enemy who is strong, is worthy of more respect and dignity than his own crew who are weak. Kaido,
I mean,
to me,
it will,
is
because
Blackbeard, but missing a revelation. He's like Blackbeard, that he values strength, but he hasn't had the revelation Blackbeard has, that if you live like Luffy, where people are bolstering each other and individually ambitious, they will be more powerful in this world. So he wants to break powerful people to his will. Almost like it's similar to Whitebeard, if Whitebeard was breaking down people with fear instead of with love. Like, Whitebeard, I stand by, was breaking people down, but he was doing it in a positive way. But I think it still weakens them. Kaido also wants to break down strong people. He just does it in a much worse way.
And then he wants them to come back stronger. He's like, if I can't beat you down and have you come back stronger, which is why I think my theory about what's going to happen with Luffy is true.
I'm very curious for when we get to the part where you can talk about, because you've come up with like several conclusions, and I will tell you, one of them is almost exactly right, and not just that, but is a more insightful version of the story than most people who've read it are able to take from it.
Huh. I don't remember all of my things. You know me.
Yeah. What should we talk about next?
This
we do have a Patreon read along.
When Kinemon screams out Kaido, and then Kaido says back, which is proof of Kaido understanding at least that he has to care about some of them, unlike Queen. And I know that it's a great one, but Queen is a disappointing leader and isn't going to get anything. But Kaido says right out loud, the quiet part, Jack is one of my handpicked lead performers. I will not stand back and watch as one of my most valued men is killed. I have failed you, Master Kaido. No, this does not make you weak. They're just that strong. So
and this shows his morality, where strength matters to him, where he respects these enemies, but also respects this crewmate for being strong. Is like, no, buddy, don't be mean to yourself. You're a strong guy.
Yeah, but he's not saying to him that, you have disappointed me or anything like that. But he's also not putting them down. Like, no. They're incredible. You don't have to feel bad about yourself, man. Like, if I could turn them and make them go on my side, that would be the greatest victory, because they are freaking amazing. I'm so happy for you, Drock, that the Phoenix doesn't suck. Because his fighting and his, he is so cool. And his color is so cool. Ugh, Marco is kicking it. And with his glasses on, he seems to be that intelligent fighter who's like, I'm gonna come in here and help you out, kids. Like, he's almost like a young dad or an older uncle.
I can see it.
He's kind of giving off young dad energy. Oh, he's giving off young dad energy, like Whitebeard, but young.
Aww.
And I really feel like it's so cool to see him in this way, because he isn't, and he keeps saying all the time, that's why I like you guys, but it's always different reasons that he likes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, there's so many reasons you like them, Marco. And he's like, that's what I like about you guys. And I'm like, is that what you like about them? I think we got a couple of really good kind of walk-up moments in this one in long panels, because we also get the Skatebirds coming up with our Zao people after they've been transformed, and they're all running towards the fight against Kaido, and we get to see how cool that is. Crimson Cat Dance indeed. That was so cool. Getting to see that walk. Well, it's not really a walk up. It was more like a run up. We were being fed well by Oda with the walk ups in this.
Now that we've reached this part, can I say a thing I've seen pointed out that I think is so fucking funny?
Yeah.
Kaido thought he was throwing a party tonight with his friends.
Yeah.
Kaido is a 58-year-old, I think, man who tried to throw a party with his friends and ended up fighting 11 guys on his roof at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that feels like a party. The Fire Festival made me really sad when we keep going back to them having their little fire festival and the whole town being so happy when everything could just be crushed in a minute. And you're like, I really hope you're enjoying yourself, and I hope you don't end up getting attacked and having things happen to you. But it's sad to me that your entire happiness is this one frickin' day a year. It highlighted for me just how much has been taken away from them when they're standing there and they're laughing and the laugh is real, and they're enjoying food and it's real, and they're having all these things, and the happiest day in their year is their remembrance of the dead. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. It's just highlights just how crazy things are for you. You know what I was just gonna say? Like, it maybe not hit for you, but I know that it hits for Oda and I, since we're the same age. Is when when the ice thing happens and Queen puts out the virus on the floor. I was like, yeah, for me a little bit it feels like a scary kind of like ice monster thing, but mostly it feels like watching the Smurfs when they got their disease and they would bite each other and say gnap. There's a couple of things in here that I was like, oh my god, that looks exactly like when Grumpy Smurf bit into Sleepy. Like, or that's identical, that scene.
All right, it reminded you of the Smurfs. I'm gonna let you have.
It just, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, that reminds me of the Smurfs when they got that sickness and they walked around saying gnap and biting each other. And then they were all in this area and they were trying to come up with the potion to get them better. I'm sorry, it just, the panels actually look directly like some of the Smurf moments.
That's so funny. And yeah, Tom and Jerry is huge in Japan. That I am aware of.
I love when Jinbei comes up and says, I'm getting you up to the roof. You must conserve your power. Basically, quit fighting so hard in here. You need to be on the top. And sends him up. Oh, I don't like the people with paper face eyeballs who snap information around. I think it's
so cool.
Innovative. I think it's innovative. I hate is them. Except for the bullfrog, whom I love, and the squirrel.
I love them.
I just don't like it when they're people.
Cool. I think it's rad.
The Beast Pirates Armored Division too. When I saw them and how icky they were all at one place, I thought, oh good. I can't wait until you have to eat dumplings. Because you knew they were gonna.
Friends forever.
I was so happy for our Red Skaybirds when they got to go up there and give Kaido what for and reopen the wounds on his chest. Like, you're gonna go down, but I was just so happy for you when you had your little moment. It was great. But it was mostly just beautiful. Like, the imagery in this area, especially in color, rest in peace colored comics, all my mangas. The imagery in this area was stunning up on the roof with Kaido and R8.
I find it
was
wild.
So beautiful.
I find it wild how gorgeous of a set piece Onigashima is for just being a castle island that there's a fight happening in. Like, it feels like it was very high effort.
Yeah, but it's like his actual ass home that he made special.
How do you feel about all the dinosaur facts we're getting here about how dinosaurs hunted in prehistoric times?
It's fine.
It's a good bit. Come on.
Like, it's fine. I enjoy it. If you're gonna put dinosaurs in, I guess you kind of got to do that, especially since it's being made like post both sections of Jurassic Park. You're like, yeah, okay.
Can I tell you a fan theory I've seen that I love for why the dinosaur physiology of the devil fruits is the way it is?
Yeah, why?
The theory that I subscribe to and think is beautiful is that the people who made the devil fruits didn't know about Little Garden, so they were like, what do you think these do? And they were just like making up stuff and making the physiology work that way when they built the devil fruits.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. I really liked watching Marco fight Bigmom. In the color, especially rest in peace color. Because he literally says the thing that we were talking about, which I had been thinking about, and then he says it, I may not know what my role here is yet. And I was like, preach. And he and Big Mom's fires are fighting after himself, but I know better than any of them the kind of danger you pose. Prothamus, why am I losing to mere flames? Phoenix flames have special properties. I loved the fight between those two. It was glorious. Absolutely glorious. And I love my kids from Zhao when they go out in the moon. What a great idea to have people who go like albino in the moon. It is so good. And this is what I'm saying about when we're talking about Usopp too. Like, when Chopper gets the disease, the cold disease, because he was bitten by a Smurf who said Ganap, and he realizes that he's going to need to pull himself apart and people are going to need to help him. Frickin' out comes Audrey 2 from Usopp and just snaps up. It was what's her face, and eats her up. Rawr! Nom 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 nom. And then what happens? Spikes, bamboo javelins come out of the ground. poke everyone through the bottom of their head. They're having to run through the entire thing. She mortars his face because he's so strong. And he's actually creating a ton of problems for them. Like, he's constantly doing things. It's just that he doesn't have a bunch of one-on-one fights. And then when people come in to rescue him and they're trying to say my captain will never be the pirate king to Nami, and she's like, okay, I'll say it. Luffy will never, and then she just sits here and doesn't say anything. That's it, Nami. Just lie to her. The wrong world will end your life after we made it all this way. And then she goes, stop until he's the pirate king. Oh, so proud of you. You really took your lesson from Skypiea seriously, and you personed up. And you're just sitting there with your head bleeding down all over. So, what do you want to do? You want to, in that way, then die? You idiot, Nami, get out of there. And then, boom, in comes Tama, and what does she do? She brings her angry dog with her. And then both of them could have just been like, okay, let's run away. But they're like, let's get Tama to safety after she saves her. And they're with them the entire time. No, I will not have slander on Usopp. When did this
I'm not saying he's
happen?
not helpful. I'm saying I wish Oda gave him more of a key moment that felt distinctly impactful
And
to the
I'm
narrative
saying,
weight.
when did it happen that I am protecting Usopp's honor? The basement floor. The people of the D are known as the enemies of the gods, said Korra. My true name is Trafalgar D. Waterlaw. Your alias. That's right. So we know that there is a poneglyph in the basement that Law found. I'm stunned that you have the name of D as well, said Robin to Law. You're the only one I would tell this to. Thank you for the trust, but I don't have the answers for you. Luffy may not care, but I find the D name to be fascinating. So it was the only way to follow the red stones. So the only way, yes, and that means beating the 4 emperors. Not that they'll make it easy. Not this one. I need a red stone. Hey, Korra, I've made up my mind. I want to know the meaning of this checkered fate. I love Law talking to Korra in the past as he replays his conversation with Robin in his head, standing in front of the poneglyph, because it lets me see Law take on his own new fixation, his own whales, if you will, where he's decided that it's time. But I love him talking to Korra because I unironically think that the reason that Law is as good as he is, despite having one of the most unhinged devil fruits in the history of devil fruiting, is that he has the love and the change of Korra inside of his own heart. Well, Corazon meaning heart, so yeah, Ovs. But it's like that was necessary. So he does all this thing with taking people's hearts out, and yet it feels like Korra is his heart. Korra's heart leads his act. And it's really cool too because Oda does this really great thing as a writer that you'll be in the middle of a calm scene or a party scene and he'll chuck in something horrifying, but he does the opposite because he understands the use of foil so well. And I have to remind myself that it's also that Japanese idea of having a balanced chapter. And so he also does this amazing thing where he pulls back a soft, quiet moment like this, or a moment that shows so much love and shows how somebody's character developed and what makes them so interesting. And he'll put it in the middle of one of the most raucous freaking fight scenes ever designed. And so when you see it, it has that much more of an impact because it's such a different tempo than the rest of the story that it really kind of hits you. And I was very grateful for it because it also just takes the pace down for a second. So it isn't just this mad rush of fight after fight. You get these times to stand over to the side like you're super tramping even in the quietest moment and get to have this. So that was really cool. Moving forward, Kaido, what's wrong with your face? Kaido, your face has a problem. I love when Bigmom is coming up to the top of the roof and she's just flying through. She is so freaking terrifying. She gets to the roof so much faster than Luffy.
To be fair.
He really feels, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, that is cheaty. I'm sorry, Sanji. When you get trapped by Black Maria, that ugly ass black spider from hell, you earned it. You really did earn it. Like,
But he heard a lady
why?
wanting help. How is he supposed to do anything but drop everything he's doing?
They just knew everything about him, and they said to themselves, you know what? I know how to get this baby in here. Let's do this. Dummy. We got Enel kicking back and listening to music with a cat. Cute cat, by the way. Makes me think that Enel is coming out again soon, and that's why I'm seeing Enel here. I think that Oda is trying to say, remember me? I love the way that we got a little fire of our phoenix down on everyone, and he decides to use his pyapple to help everyone burn off their ouchies to keep them safe in the meantime. I really loved the entire plot line with the Smurf disease. I thought that was really good.
And it made this is something I want to talk about. It emphasizes something that I love about One Piece that I've talked about over and over again, that specialization always matters. Law is a better surgeon than Chopper, but Chopper's a virologist. He's a pharmacologist. So he is better specialized to deal with this than Law would be.
Yeah, and I liked it too because it's the exact opposite of Kaido, whereas Kaido only sees one thing as important. Oda sees so many things as being important and shows us the variance and why they matter. And so he highlights you did it to me. I just called him Copter. Choppers.
It's just even like an even further deviation than
right after. Yeah. So it highlights Chopper's specialities, and then we also get to see Law specialities highlighted. So I thought this was a really great piece because I got to see everyone kind of being awesome. I know that you're saying like straight out of Compter. I'm a nightmare walking psychopath talking. We need to pause because I'm just going to take a moment here to hang out with Ace. And so I'm going to need to see this because Jesus God, my heart on the floor, crushed to my soul, having to see my Ace hanging out. And in the chapter 999, where we find out that our person who's becoming Odin is the father of Kaido, and we meet the son of Kaido, and they get to sit there and hang out with my Ace, and I find out about the depth of their friendship, and I find out about their fight, and the Viva card, and the dreams of going into the future and getting to travel around the world. And I was just like, this was hard. This was a hard couple of chapters here. It broke my soul. And so we're going to get into it. And we give the book to Momo, and Yamato is giving the book to Momo and saying, I can only consider that an act of fate, and then passes. After all, Luffy's name has the letter D in the middle, and passes it off. So he was Roger's son and Luffy's brother? Is this true? You're the one who brought Luffy here to Wano, aren't you? Yes, indeed. Out of all the pirates, as numerous as the stars in the sky, you happened to meet him and brought him to this country. I can only consider that an act of fate. Chapter 1000 was one of the most... I don't know if Oda woke up in the morning one day and said, I'm just going to make chapter 1000 hit hard. Like, this is 1,000 chapters, and not many people get to write 1,000 chapters of things, so I'm just going to make it hit hard. He did not let us down. We have, like, the wicked fights between King, Queen, and frickin' Phoenix, who are crazy. We have the hidden truth, D, and this is my father's journal. We have the father's journal come out in full. This is for you, of course. I picked it out of the river at the foot of Odin's castle on that terrible day. Someone must have kept the journal safe from the burning castle. It contains everything there is to know about Odin's grand life and the world that he experienced. Having Momo have to confront all that, and then we as readers have to confront the entire friendship, and we hear the nope, I'm not going to cry. Okay, I'm going to read this part out loud. Okay. Ace, dude, that was a slip of the tongue. I wasn't supposed to say that. You didn't hear that. Forget about it. Anyway, don't laugh at that. Me and Sabo won't allow it. That's at the end of my little brother's dream. And so then we're like, oh, wait, what? What? Luffy's got a different dream? What now?
Yeah.
Sure. When Luffy first said it, we laughed, but that's okay. Nobody else can laugh. We believe in him. And so I wonder if Luffy wants to throw like a worldwide party and join everyone together, or
You
if
also
Luffy
theorized
wants...
about him wanting to be friends with the whole world.
That's what I was just about to say.
Oh, okay,
Or
never
him
mind.
wanting to make friends with every single person of the world, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, okay, there's gotta be something that's gotta be a little bit silly, because there has to be a silliness to it, right? Otherwise he wouldn't have said don't laugh. And then he goes, I really think he can make it happen. And that's why. And when I saw this panel of Ace saying that, and I had to know exactly how much Ace loves Luffy, and how
believes
Ace
in him.
and believes in him. How Ace is out here telling his new friend and possible love interest that even though this thing is crazy, he believes that he can make it happen. And then they say, Ace, hey, what's the deal, Yamato? I'm not going to laugh at him. Those are the words the Pirate King spoke. Words that stunned Oden. In the journal of Kozuki Oden, there was a great man who said the same thing. Of course I wouldn't laugh at him. Your brother is incredible. Oh yeah? A great man. Huh. Good to hear. Holy
Love it.
shit.
It's one of the most beautiful scenes I have
That
ever
is
seen.
one of the most beautiful parts. I just was like, oh. Then it says, maybe one day me and Luffy should sit down with him for a drink. He goes, I bet you would have gotten along. Would have. Well, he's already dead. You're talking about a dead guy? And then there it's done. This is your Viver card. That's just a piece of paper. Even seeing the Viver card made me cry, because I know that later Ace gives a piece of that card to Luffy, and I think back to Alabasta and all the hope and the future and
All
the
of that
what can
came from
happen.
Yamato.
And all of that came from Yamato from this moment here. And we got to see the beginning of that and see him make it for him. And it was just like, yes, but it's a piece of paper and it'll bring us together again. Tear off a bit and give it to your friends that you don't want to lose track of. People you want to meet again. Let's meet up again one day, Ace. You bet, he says, waving it over his shoulder. And he's holding a piece of it. And then one day, Ace's card just disappeared. And shortly after that, I learned the truth from the newspaper. I learned that Ace was Roger's son, and that his little brother really had made a name for himself as a pirate. That was Luffy, the man who brought you here. This is what Oda wrote about the future. Oh, shit. And then one day his card just So it makes it so much more special when we go up to the top. Right after that, Luffy finally gets to the roof, which is brilliant juxtaposition and a way better job of giving us hype. Like, he really moved us into hype for this, because you talk about the past and about Ace's faith in him. And then after you learn about Ace's faith in him, we watch Luffy go up the last of the stairs and come out onto the roof. And that's the lead up. That's the hype we had. The past, the faith of his brother, the connection between him and Goldie Roger. And then Luffy comes up and they go, and here's another one. All you stay back and watch me fight. Straw Hat. All these fetching young heads are ripe for the taking, says Gross Mama, who wants to take heads. Over the 20 years in the future, powerful pirates leading the next generation. These are the words of Oden. Over 20 years in the future, powerful pirates leading the next generation will come swarming into the new world. If I am dead by then, they will be the ones to strike down Kaido. And then it shows Luffy standing in front of the two of them, and you think, here it goes, here it goes. And then, Linlin, can you guess what this boy said he would become right to my face? Oh, he's a saucy one. He talks a big game to me, too. And he destroyed my castle. You owe me an apology for that, Straw Hat. And he walks towards him, and you think, here the fight goes. And he walks right through them, and everyone's watching him. Hey, boy, say it again. Tell us what you're going to be. We can hear you. And he goes right through them.
Sir Luffy, I am so grateful.
And grabs Kinemon. You all right, Kinemon? I'm sorry it took me so long. And Kinemon coughs, and his whole crew is laying around him bleeding out. Alas, When I pass on, I will have nothing to shore load Odin but my shame. Will you put Wano on your back? Course I will. Dummy. It's my friend's country. Hey boy, I am in your debt. Traffy, send them down below. And then he goes right into attack. That was the best. Instead of speeding up and immediately coming out on top and starting to fight, the first thing when he comes out on top is sees his friends on the ground, and his very first thing he does is check in with the people that he loves and the people that he wants to protect. That made me freaking cry so hard. That would have been the other picture. Like you and I talked about it.
Yeah.
And him walking through the two of them to Kinemon was huge. I chose this picture that we chose because that Momo's sacrifice, aging himself the 20 years that he would have been aged to, is kind of a wild sacrifice not to look at when he's just an 8-year-old boy. I think that that's so incredible, and I think it's important that we look at that and we respect the sacrifice that Momo made to take 20 years off of his life that he will never get to experience. The fact that he will have to be a man with the mind of an 8-year-old who will not be given the quarter that he's given now to allow to grow. People will expect different things out of him, different abilities. He will be pushed too far as a child than he should have to be. And I think that that's something that should be respected. But to see Luffy do this when he came up, this encapsulates who Luffy is and what Luffy does. He feels so because it also shows that he feels so strong and capable that he turns his back to them.
I want to say something about Momo's sacrifice very quickly before getting into how hype that is, which is, I think Oda in this writes something very interesting, which is, in a series that's so about freedom and about earning respect, how do you write a character who is in a position of power by right of birth and make it feel earned? And I think the way you do that is to find a way to highlight that they understand the weight and sacrifice that should come with responsibility. And I think Momo shows that better than I could imagine finding a way to show with the sacrifice of his youth. He gives it up entirely for the responsibility to his country. And yeah, it shows the idea of trauma forcing you to mature. But I think more than just trauma, it's about responsibility. It's about that if you are to be expected to, by right of birth, inherit a country, then you need to take that seriously to the point Momo did. And he does. He proves himself worthy of the title of Shogun here. And that's incredible.
But also, like, Vivi did do that, but Vivi wasn't 8.
No.
Right? Like, it's amazing. But the difference between a 8-year-old and a 15-year-old is a chasm.
I think Vivi definitely shows herself being worthy of inheriting her kingdom and how hard she works for her people. That being said, Oda one-upped himself here. This is incredible.
Yeah, this part here too, you want to talk about a moment that you're sitting there and you're like, this is cheesy as shit, and I am here for it all the way, every day, all day, night and day. Kaido, what are you doing? How could you let him hit you like that? I am Monkey D. Luffy, and I am the man who will surpass you to be the Pirate King. A boom. Luffy and I high-fived after later, not in that moment because he was busy, but when he had a sec, we sat down and we were on the grass. We were having frozen lemonades together, ironically. And I was like, can I just say high five? And he was like, you know what? Absolutely. So we high-fived.
Oh my God. His
punch damaged me? Like, what the hell just happened? Also, just let me say one thing, says Law. I was going to put him down there anyways, you asshole. And then you made it look like I was following your orders.
I love that so much.
It's an incredible thing. With his line, there are only a scant few capable of fighting me. How high will your ceiling go? How high will your ceiling go? I realized is the piece of dialogue I was looking for that I wasn't given, that I wanted. Oh,
what do you mean?
That's the one that solidifies my thinking. We're gonna take a little. We're gonna take a little
We're gonna take a little break to corkboard.
We're gonna take a little cork break, a little corking in the corner break. We're gonna go to a cork board and we're gonna cork it up. Okay, so when you're in this point, I was reading it and I kind of put it in the Discord. I was like, oh, I don't remember what I said. Okay. But I said that I just realized something in the Discord and now I'm a little worried that Luffy will kill. I was like, Luffy is going to kill Kaido. 100%. Luffy is going to kill Kaido.
That's where you're at.
And I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, shit. Because I remembered that Kaido's been trying to kill him down south for 100,000 million years. Over and over again, nobody has lost as many times as Kaido. And I was like, frick. He wants to die because he thinks he's fulfilling a prophecy and he thinks that he is going to become Joy Boy. He thinks he is going to become the king, the center of the directions of the wind. He thinks he is going to be the sun god. And then he meets Luffy and he asks this question, how high will your ceiling go? And I think because the thing that Kaido wants more than anything else in the world is for there to be an outright full giant ass war. And he wants the entire world to be in an organized chaos. I can't remember what his words were, but it was something like organized chaos. I can go to my notes if it matters. And so because that's what he wants, and he thinks if he dies, he is going to become a Sun King or a Joy Boy or a thing that's going to take over the entire world. And he's going to be the dawning of a new era, is I think what he thinks. And that's why he wants to die. But I think he's wrong. I think he's going to kill Luffy. Somehow Luffy's voice is going to drop out of the world. Momo will know that and will know that Luffy's voice is no longer there because he's going to die. And then Luffy is going to be reborn as the Sun King.
You keep saying king, but I get what you're saying.
Sorry, Sun God. And that Luffy is going to be, I guess, Joy Boy, because Joy Boy promises to come back. I don't know if Joy Boy and the Sun God are the same one, but I think it is. Like, I've decided that I think they are. And I think Joy Boy was also the old Sun God because you inherit roles that need to be inherited. That's the will. The will doesn't disappear until I like to think of it as until the job is done, until the thing that needs to finish has been finished, then the will is the need still existing. And that's why you inherit the will. The need for that to happen still exists. So it needs to happen. So I think that Joy Boy might have been also a sun god. And I think that is why when Kaido realizes Luffy is going to beat him, but he's going to be killed in the process. I think this is how it's going to happen from everything that I'm interpreting and asking the question, how high will your ceiling go? I don't know if Luffy's going to have a ceiling now. Like, I'm not even sure if that's going to happen. And so then now I feel like Luffy is going to be reborn after he is murdered in this fight. He's going to be reborn and take down Kaido as a god, as Joy Boy. Oh my God, I hope he comes back in laughing.
You were adding that on your prediction. Do you want to add on to your corkboard prediction that he'll come back laughing?
Yeah, I do. Because Joy Boy, and I say this because when Roger got to the thing and they all started laughing, and they were all like, oh my God, Joy Boy, that's hilarious. It would be incredible if Oda decided to do something like come back with Luffy just laughing about his death and laughing about what had happened, and he comes back. Now, I know what the picture is going to be. I guarantee the picture that you said to me, I know what you're going to pick. And everyone's like, oh, you don't know what you're going to pick. And you were like saying to everyone, do I know what she's going to pick? And they were like, yeah, 100%. That's going to happen. Luffy is turning into a god in this realm, and he is going to be your center image. That means that the Luffy is going to be bright. I can't remember if it was white. Remember when I was trying to make those Luffy earrings,
and Luffy is white because you looked up an image by accident.
When I looked up the image trying to make Luffy earrings out of my polymer clay like a moron, and I forgot to say
what color that was.
It was it yellow or white?
Well, I'm not reminding you.
Anyways, Luffy is going to come back in his haki and his rebirth, because he is the coming of the new dawn. So I did a thing where I said to Chat GPT, because I can't go through it that quick, what lines in One Piece, because I said I did the what lines in One Piece does Kaido say before chapter 1023 that express his values of what he wants. It is important.
It is competent enough that it did not give you spoilers. It didn't give you a single line.
No, because I said
that point.
It's important that it's only lines of dialogue before chapters 1023. So it was very careful. And it gave me those. Then I said, name to me all the times that characters talked about the coming of a new dawn in One Piece prior to chapter 1000, because I didn't want to take any risks. Because I'm not going to be able to go through all of bloody One Piece and find every single time. And it's amazing how many times.
Use of AI, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how many times people say the coming of a new dawn, the era of a new dawn, the changing of a time, da 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 da. And so I was like, 100% then. Luffy comes back now. His haki is changed forever. He becomes that bright white thing or that bright yellow thing. I think it was yellow and white or white. I don't know. Anyways, the thing that I was like, why did they make Luffy this color? That's stupid. And then I realized, oh, baby, I bet you that goes with my prediction. And so now that's what's going to be in the center of this damn image, baby. And Luffy is about to come back after dying. So anyways, as I was talking to you, I said to you, I'm super worried. Because I said, if he kills Kaido and Kaido is trying to die, then what's going to happen? Are we going to get something stronger? And da 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 da. As I went through, I decided, no, Kaido thinks he's the prophecy because, and why wouldn't he think he's the prophecy? You said to me, because you were so afraid to tell me anything, because you're like, this is your journey, kid. Go on your journey.
Tiny thing to
but
help
you
reframe
said to
your
me,
thinking.
The one thing is, I think you hate Kaido so much, you're not just looking at it from Kaido's perspective. That wasn't a hint. That was a good reminder that I was being blinded by hatred. So then I just sat down and I said to myself, I'm Kaido. Okay, if I'm Kaido and I'm about to have big, huge fights and stuff, what do I think about myself first? I'm Kaido. And I realized Kaido would totally think that he was meant to be the prophecy of a coming of a new age. Nobody can beat Kaido. And there was one particular line of dialogue that was pulled out that made me realize this. And this is why I was able to figure what I think is going to happen. Because, and I'll die on a hill for it, even if I'm wrong. Like, go big, go strong. Yep. Is that he says, the path to becoming the Pirate King is laid with the corpses of those who dare to challenge me. And that made me realize that if I'm Kaido, I see myself as the strongest thing on this earth. And if I see myself as the strongest thing on this earth, then I believe, of course, that I am the prophecy. I would totally think I was the prophecy if I think the path to becoming the Pirate King is laid out with corpses. I would be like, I will be the Pirate King. Obviously, no one can get through me. I throw myself off a cloud. I hit the earth. I don't die. I am
the earth took
the prophecy.
More damage than him.
Exactly. I would 100% believe that I was the prophecy. Why wouldn't you believe you were the prophecy if you're Kaido? So when you said that and I started to think as Kaido, then I was like, yeah, I'm Kaido. I'm the prophecy. That makes sense. And so then I said, okay, so if I think I'm the prophecy is the coming of a new age, I must know, I must have more information, and I must know that there is a prophecy of somebody being the new age, being the next Joy Boy. I think that's going to be me. I have some information. I'm Kaido. I have a lot of smart people. I went to Wano because I wanted to get a hold of all of the different information about the poneglyphs. I wanted to find the way to get to Laughtown. I want to find a way to get there. I know about the red poneglyphs. I know about the other poneglyphs. I have information. I've had them translated. I was looking for people to do that. That's one of the reasons I chose Wano. Plus Wano was hidden away. And so if I'm Kaido and I think of all those things, I know that I am going to be the bringer of the biggest war. And I know that I am going to be the person who tears the world asunder into chaos through my own organization and my leadership. and that there is one more body that is going to fall down, because I was also like, ooh, that's also a great foreshadowing if you kill Luffy. And how does somebody become a thing again? They're born again. That's a thing we love to play with in narratives. And how are you born again? Well, if you're Luffy, you die, your voice disappears, and then boom, your voice comes back, and you are reborn as the new Dawn. And that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how he gets reborn, but what I'm hoping it is lightning. Like, I'm hoping his body gets shocked or Law comes up, but lightning makes sense to me. Like, if he's like, I'm going to take you to the ends of the earth, that would be amazing. If it could be Eminem, if it could be Eminem returning and lightning him, that would be delightful. But I think that, because lightning doesn't affect him, but does it restart his heart? But Law is also there. Is Law able to go into him and take his heart out and zap it, or help him in some way? Does someone sacrifice themselves for him? I don't know. Dude, I have been thinking about how this is going to look ever since.
You've been circling this since we watched episode 1000, yeah.
Yeah. So I still don't know where I am, but when I'm thinking of all the things that make sense, and your one thing when you said, I just think you hate Kaido too much to think about this, I said to myself, okay, I think I'm blind because of my hatred, and I need to back it up and start thinking about this again. And then all the little pieces went, and I was like, Luffy has to die. Hey, Luffy dying, I thought would be amazing. I've believed since Oda gave so many hints in the beginning, I knew, and especially once I decided on the idea of the directions, and then watching that video from Japan, I found out about the center one. I knew there had to be a sun god in the middle, and I was like, well, that's freaking Luffy. So, like, then I looked at all the hints that Oda gave, and I was like, holy shit, like, it's all here. It's just right here. And so I cannot wait, because I know it's going to happen. I know it is.
How all of this has spiraled out from people early on saying Usopp is our god.
Usopp is our god.
Usopp is our god has been the start of this long spiral of you going, well, wait a minute.
Okay. Before we move on to the next chapter, I have to put out there, like, Oda, some of your panel work in this with the fight on the roof is so wildly beautiful,
so
that it is
good.
It's actually almost not to be believed.
Kaido
as a dragon lined up beside Big Mom, facing all of them with the rocks broken. Oh, damn, it's good.
What's your favorite bit of like fight choreography that happens in Roof Piece? This stretch of the 5v2, because this fight has some of the coolest conceptual choreography in One Piece.
The moment where they all attack Kaido at the same time after sending Big Mom over the edge is pretty glorious.
It's so cool.
Where they all come together and you have them squish him, and then they're slicing and
also
all of that. Zoro's attack, like, Zoro, can we just have a like raise the roof for Zoro, because his changes in this fight, watching his haki grow. Ugh.
I'm not one of those people that's like, we gotta hype Zoro because he's so strong, because I find just being strong boring a lot of the time. But the man did briefly block the most powerful attack in the series.
Yeah, 100.
Like, have we ever seen an attack more powerful than that? I don't think so. I think this is the single strongest hit we have seen in the series.
It was unbelievable. It was incredible.
Monsters teaming up to use a combo attack.
I also just love watching Luffy still learning.
I think the King Punch is more powerful.
Being on the roof and saying, I don't understand. I saw the future in that one, and yet it didn't work this way. But he's just like puzzling it out and thinking, because it's been a couple of times now that we've got to see Luffy being cerebral. He is in the middle of the fight, and it proves that he is a bodily kinesthetic learner, and that when he is moving and fighting, which is why fighting for Luffy is school, because when he is moving and fighting, he grows the most in his haki, but he also grows the most in his brain.
Interesting. So many bits of choreography are so fucking cool here. I personally am a huge fan of Law's just moving around, getting in position, gamma knifing Dragon Kaido. It's so simple, but it just looks so clean.
I think my favorite one is Zoro.
Fair. I love how each of the enemies here has a different way of bypassing Kaido's scales because they're too hard to cut through. Luffy uses the haki he's trained. Zoro uses the overflowing haki of Enma. Killer uses a sonic attack so that it's ripping him apart from the inside. Law uses gamma knife to cut him apart from the inside. And Kid crushes him. They all find a way to deal damage despite his toughness, and that's so cool. And it shows how versatile powers in One Piece are, because they all have a different approach.
Yeah, I completely agree. One more shout out to Sanji doing what needs to do, trusting in Robin, leaning in on his fam. Shout out Sanji. And Robin coming in, and the first thing she does is an open hand spank. And then we find out about her training with Sabo. I do, even though I hate the little dudes with the things on their face with the one eyeball, I do like the mouse. I've said this before. I like the mouse. I like the squirrel.
Wait, you're telling me the ones you like are the animals?
Yeah. I know you're shocked by that.
I am
because
shocked.
usually
animals.
I dislike the animals so much.
Yeah.
But here, I like the animals. Of the legendary Yakuza boss of Wano, Hyogora the flower. They're too powerful. We can't get that close to the raccoon dog. I love it when the little peanut has his glow up. Here's the problem when the old peanut has his glow up. You could still see his face as old peanut in the middle of a big body. Hi there, YouTube. It's me, Mama Drock, and I'm here coming at you live from Twitch. And here is what I'm here to say. You've been watching it all the way to this part. It's time to subscribe. Will subscribing change your life? I've already told you all about this. It absolutely changes your life.
Have you not been listening?
I want you to get a seatbelt, stick it on your lap, wipe off your mouth from all the crumbs of the sweet, sweet treats we've been giving you. Go over to your mouse, open the piece, and press subscribe. Why? Because you like it. Why not subscribe? It's weird when you don't. Also press like, because you like. All right, YouTube, I'm bored with this now. So I just want to take a moment to say this instead. When you think that I hate people, it makes me happy in my heart. Comment about it all the time. And let me eat that delicious hatred up. That's all I have to say about that. If we get to, I can't remember how many subscribers, it's 100,000. I remember it off of my head. And I know what you're thinking. 100,000? Where are you right now? You know what? I'm a dreamer. I'm a wisher. I'm a hoper. You see all the stars right now? That's right. I'm going to eat those up too. I believe in us. We're going to get a matching tattoo of One Piece, and we're going to let our humans inside of our Discord, which you should be a joiner of. It's weird that you're not there either. Help us to come up with our design for our tattoo, or at least the area that we get one of. And if we get to 50,000, Drock there is going to become fully Marco. He will have wings. They will be blue and yellow. He will fly around a building. He will touch down on the ground, steal somebody's cat, take it into his house. Not to eat it, you weirdo. He loves cats. And that will be his new pet. And he will name him Pineapple Boy. And that is all I have to say about that. I think it was so sad and sweet when our old Peanut was telling his humans, you're going to have to kill me, dude, because I'm going to take you all down, and I'm that strong. Sweet, but it was also one of those moments that's like, I'm so strong. And like, he is. Like, I get it.
Come back to my best right now. If you don't kill me, you'll die.
Yeah, you better kill me, buddy, because I'll kill you all. I could kill the whole lots of ya. And I don't disagree.
Like, hey, wait
he
a minute,
may be an old peanut, but every one of them has an allergy to peanuts, and he'd kill them all. I can't believe that little drawing asshole turned himself to Odin. Like, doing it to his friends. What?
We did get that. Okay, this is what I couldn't remember.
Doing it to his friends was bad enough, but doing it to Momo? You piece of dirt. Ugh. That really upset me. I hated it. Because, to take somebody who had so much importance to all of you and then to use it against them, and then Kiku dies because they simply cannot kill somebody who looks like the person who is the most important person to them. So that's just wild.
This scene, and Ashura Doji fucking explodes for it, but this scene to me is why I love Ashura Doji. Because we see someone who's been broken by watching his friends die instead of biding their time. And him being broken and disheartened is the only reason he doesn't fall for it, because he's had his spirit crushed and he's cynical enough that he is savvy and aware, knows this is a trick, and saves all of his friends' lives at the expense of his own.
Yeah, exactly. Become Kozuki, bring down Kozuki, then die. It is the greatest final act. My entire life, a beautiful and poignant drama. You know what I feel about that? You freaking absolute gross piece of crap. Like, could we have a character who is more into themselves?
Probably.
I like that the Shogun asshole face of the 90 heads comes back and is like, I will burn it all down. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say a bunch of dumb shit. And then he gets all his heads chopped off.
Hey, all but one if you count.
That's true. I really, really love it. Because last time I said to you, well, it is possible. I was wondering if he could still be around. And he's like, Kinemon, Orochi, Shogun Orochi, blah, blah, blah. And then Kinemon is like, just a moment. I have nothing to fear from you in your wounded state. This is actually what Kinemon says. And what you can't see is I'm also doing all of the actions because I'm the greatest swords person, Kinemon. I pulled him inside of my spirit. And now, no heads. How many heads did you have? Oh, that's right, none.
It technically has one left, actually.
Well, I guess there's this weird little dark, shriveledy dude up there. It makes me laugh.
Because he's only had 7 cut up to this point, and he has 8 heads.
Yeah. And I feel really good about it. We go back up onto the roof where there is a fight. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's with this guy Kaido. He's strong, and he also has like a dragon kind of thing, and then he's pretty big. And I love how when he's fighting with all of them, this is the area where Zoro comes up and cuts Prometheus in half, knocks the old woman down, puts the cloud inside of a box, and she goes, I'm melting. I forgot there's nothing below but sea below. Help me, Zeus. And Zeus is like, I'd love to, biatch, but I'm kind of in a box right now. And she doesn't forgive that. And then she doesn't forgive him, and I feel pissy about the fact that she couldn't believe that Zeus didn't help her when Zeus was locked into a box. Like, there's excuses, then there's reasons. That's called a reason, bitch. Check yourself. Then they keep having their fightsy fights when people are like, you're making up excuses. I'm like, ooh, I love it when people gaslight people, calling it excuses when it's a reason. And 999 in the dark, I understand that you have had this happen or have seen it happen to others. I hate bad things happening to people in my presence. I have a really hard justice line. If I see you in public and you're doing something unkind or unjust to somebody, know that I will call you out very, very publicly.
That is very true.
Hey, Kaido, that's my captain. I loved Zoro so much in this arc. I love him in an immense way. The faith and the absolute dedication that he shows to Luffy, meanwhile also building his own character and showing his own King Hake and working on himself. And the absolute, also he looks good as a weird cross wrapped up in a cast. I love him in this arc. And when he's like, hey, Kaido, that's my captain. And then he's like, if you want to crush anyone's skull, you're going to have to start with me. Demon Aura, 9 sword style. Oh, yeah, baby. And then he takes out his 9 swords, goes to town. And this was really incredible because he ends and he's like, boy, damn it, boy. Don't tell me you can use the color of the Supreme King too. And he doesn't have to tell you, you saw it. What are you talking about? I don't have any idea what you mean. That was the best attack I could do. I was hoping at least to knock you off your feet. Oh, you did enough. This wound will remain with me. I was like, thank you so much for giving our boy what he deserved. My fake coughing has made me have to cough.
I love how consistently Kaido respects people strong enough to hurt him.
It feels very much like Sanji. Like they have a line and they keep that line. And I like it when we don't like deviate from that. Like it's okay if we change this and that and this and that and the person grows. But I like it when people have a line. And I get Here, you can infuse things with the Supreme King Haki, can't you? He says. Oh, way to figure that out, Luffy. I already figured it out. Only a handful of the very strongest can. Not a dead man walking. And then Luffy is like, what if my sandals had Supreme King Haki? And they meet the thing, and the clash of the titans happens, and Luffy does my favorite kind of punch, and that is uppercut. I love me an uppercut.
So this begins an interesting part of the anime that we probably won't be watching, where I think these panels of Conqueror's coding look so good, and the anime decided to adapt coding with Conqueror's Haki as over-the-top explosive auras of gold light. And it's a bit extra for me.
He's not even touching him. Zoro, Traffy, thanks for protecting me. You can go down now. I'm going to beat him no matter what it takes. Go ahead and let everyone know. What a great line. And he's in the pose that you've got there in the middle.
It's Luffy's I'm going to kick ass pose.
That's Luffy's hey there, hi there, ho there. It's time for me to take your ass, put it on my shoe, and thrust it through the air. I love it when the club and the shoe meet and render the air in that way that we have been waiting for.
Luffy has his sky split moment.
Luffy's sky split moment. You know the only thing that wasn't perfect about it?
What?
It wasn't in color. I like that Tama even manages to pull off the bigmom friendship at first and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know what they did? They killed that whole town that was so nice to you. And bigmom is like, you know what? Even in baddies, there's a line, biatch. Even in baddies. And then
it does seem like bigmom is genuinely pissed at Kaido for that one.
No, she is. She's horrified. And then she's like, it was that person right there. They're the ones who did it. Kaido's followers did that to the town that was so nice to me. And then there's still a code of honor, you clowns. And I was like, yes, baby. Yes. I was proud of her. Even though bigmom does some things that I find unhinged.
Yeah, like most of it.
I was just going to say, like, pretty much just the majority of the things she does are unhinged.
Well, just killing civilians who are kind is not like a thing she does that she does to take things from them, sure, but that's your civilians, Kaido. Bigmom in her rages kills civilians, but as far as like conscious bigmom, she's like, that's fucking rude. Why would you do that?
Yeah. And I loved that because that is what we needed to see. We needed to see bigmom. Yeah, because it's hard to like a villain who doesn't have any redeeming quality, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's the same way as Dofi caring about his family and Kaido respecting his enemies. Makes them more likable.
Yeah, exactly. I also like to get to see our giant cat finding out that Pedro is dead and then saying, well done, Pedro. You died for a noble cause and the opportunity to avenge you is on this island. Oh, because you could feel the build up there. And it was incredible. So I was like, aw, yeah. Avenge Pedro. I love that kid. And I every time I see frickin' Zoro in his giant body cast, I can't. It's too ridiculous. His body cast is so funny.
It is.
And the joke that you pointed out that I saw where he was like, we need to get this man better. He's worth at least 10 men. And then Zoro was like, 2,000.
Fantastic.
So good. Oh, I love it. The way that we have this fight with Zeus and how Mama won't forgive Zeus and they create that new, way less cool Cloud. I don't like her. She's not my favorite. Also, Prometheus is, he's giving clingy. Not enough interests of his own, you know?
No,
you know what I mean?
I'm feeling you. He's coming on too strong. He's not coming off as his own person.
Yeah, and I'm just like, perhaps if I could give you some lessons in humaning, this isn't woman or man, this is just person. People are attracted to people who can stand on their own 2 feet and have their own interests, man. And you're like clinging to the corner. Wow, we really made a great team, huh? We could never have done that attack of stupid. Ew. And you know what, Prometheus? Just like, no. And then bigmom is gonna, because Prometheus is fucking mid.
And then great today.
Big Mom letting Zeus get eaten by that dumb cloud and doesn't even listen to him with his reasons, which were reasonable. Ugh. You know what, Big Mom? Hard to like you for that one.
Bad management skills, TBH.
TBH. So I'm not gonna forgive her for that. I'm still sad. But my very favorite thing of this arc had to be when our Luffy Luferson is chucked over the edge and then Kaido announces his death and it goes over the whole thing. And his crew is just like, nope, not dead.
I don't believe you. And he's like,
100%.
Kaido has a thought that he really should have there, which is, why did I throw him off the island instead of cut off his head? That was dumb.
Really stupid. And
Like,
wow, that
what a mistake.
He's gonna find himself alive. And then when Sanji is like, that's ridiculous. You know how many miracles you've seen by now. Like, that's just, shut up. Get over it. That's going to be fine. That's going to work its way out in some cool way. I don't know what it is, but Oda always writes us out of these in an imaginative way. So just give Oda a moment to cook, is basically what Sanji said. I'm looking forward to Kaido to getting beaten because he said face your death like a warrior, where the problem with defeat is so few can accept it when it arrives. I better watch you accept your defeat like a champ.
So you think if Kaido doesn't accept his defeat like a champ, then he's a bitch? He's a hypocrite?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think he's going to rage against the dying of the night. Yeah. And I love that Luffy knows that he can directly talk to Momo mind to mind, and he's just like, let him know I'm still okay. I'm not breathing in. Can't move. Eyes are white. Falling into the water. Definitely not a good place, but I'm okay. It's going to happen.
I'm going to be good. Don't worry.
Don't worry about me. It's all going to work out the way it's meant to. The only good thing about CP0 in this arc is getting to watch them move the Go board. I am really happy that in the end that Nami recognized that she had to have a different relationship with Zeus. And I'm glad that his name isn't Fluff.
I love how he's so excited. Like, name me. I want a new name. She's like, Fluff. And she's like, I'm Zeus.
And I like that she says, Nami, blah, 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 blah. I'll help you out. You can't do that. And then Nami is like, look, I realized that maybe I shouldn't have made you a slave. So what if you're my friend instead? You're my little sidekick. Like, you know what? Good on you, Nami. There's a lot of people I'm proud of in this one. I was also proud of Kaido's son for just standing there and being like, you know, it's time for us to have it. And getting out all their daddy issues. Like, they actually just had a moment to say, you know, you're a dick. And here's all the things. I refuse. I already know that I can't win, but I don't care. Luffy is the man Kozuki Oden was waiting for. And until he returns, I'm just going to hold you back. And don't assume that I will go easy on you, Yamato. And then Yamato is like, yeah, I know you're not going to go easy on me, you dumb bitch. You're the worst parent a person could have ever had. And I'm just going to like toe-to-toe you, biatch. And I'm going to force you to come to terms with the fact that you are trying to kill your child, that face. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to tear down your inner demons. And so, like, there is no 1v1 because it's not just the fighting here. Yamato is also breaking down his interior well-being, hearing about the ways in which you're a terrible person and father, and that you are happy to switch sides because you suck so bad as a person that not being like you is the goal. And that does a breakdown of a mental thing, whether you will admit it or not. So everyone, there's no 1v1. There's massive people coming in and doing the big work that creates the inevitable, I think, death, I hope, of our boy. And I really look forward to him being dead and then being like, wait, am I going to wake up? And then it's like, yeah, no, bitch, you ain't going to wake up. Because you are not the one. Woot, woot. You want to be a sun what? Now you're burned by the sun. Is that a sunburn? Damn, boy. 3rd degree.
How much more do we have to cover before we do closing segments?
We're almost done.
Cool. I just don't know where we're at. I finished this part of Mosaic
low
so
tie
much
shoulder
faster than
throw.
normal.
Shave. It's the fight between Jinbei and Fangface.
I just realized something.
Why would you ask me about this? I heard there are slaves in that crew. What about the fishmen history? And then he goes, and a prison guard who told me the story of Nika. And then he uses his pointer finger to do the finger pistol. And then you know what Jinbei says? Jinbei says, you know what, Mr. Who? What if I bent your finger back, you big racist piece of crap? Then he tries Fang Pistol, and you know what happens to him? Eventually, after all the fanging and all the pistoling?
Was that?
No fangs.
Jinbei's not having this racist motherfucker.
I just love that Jinbei gets to take out time to be like, oh, who's a racist?
Who's a racist? Yeah.
Who?
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 Yeah, who's a racist?
Exactly. Luffy waking up and demanding meat is the most Luffy moment that has ever happened.
Straight up asked, why is Caribou here? To be a portable fridge. Here he is, living his purpose.
Yeah, you know how I feel about the wet caribou, the reindeer of slobberiness, but I will say it was good that he could fish a bit. Oh, and this was worthy. Komodo's dragon fruit. I'm trying to find where they talk about it. So it is the guardian spirit of Wano. Model Ochi no Makami, a rare mythical wolf. It's the guardian spirit of Wano, which makes losing it to someone claiming to be Odin especially painful. And that is why I tell you to uphold the role and protect Wano for me. Be its guardian deity. It is not the same thing. That devil fruit is stunning. And they look just like the beauties from Zo. You know what would have looked really good? If this was in color, can you imagine how cool they would have looked in here when their black and white powers were clashing at each other? We'll never know.
I mean, you could know because you could look at the anime, but they kind of just didn't do a great job.
Oh, really?
Some of the fights in the anime looked really good, some of them didn't.
Oh, why didn't they get the one chick who was so awesome to do it?
Yeah, Yamato's fruit is awakened. You can see for a few reasons. We'll get
Have
into
we
that
found out what awakened means not yet?
For a Zoan, not quite. It's not revealed for a long time.
But you've seen it?
Yep. Awakened Zoans have
Hang
been
on
explained.
Robin's boobs that Oda is using that look like stretch marks so that he can cover up the full boobicle on her fight. I'm going to say this again. On Black Maria, she's got a band around her boobs so you can't see her boobs. But when Robin goes into her full size and she's all big, all there is on her boobs is some kind of weird lines that go up both sides. It doesn't look like it's actually...
I think it's because her giant body is made up of a bunch of little body parts, so there actually aren't nipples, and the lines are just meant to show that it's a constructed thing made out of lots of little body parts.
Onions?
I don't know. How do you
I did
feel
read
about
the other day.
about the illusion powers of Black Maria and them having to face their past? Someone is wanting to know. Well, that's specifically about Robin seeing her mom, but like I think it applies to all of the illusions.
Yeah, the illusion power is a really good one, and it also talks to what could happen in the future and how you can use that against people. They really did a lot of that past shit because they did the same thing with Oda coming back in the form of the dumbass drawer. So it's a wise choice to have that as
torment people with trauma.
Yeah, it really is, because the same thing that Usopp did to Sugar the Shitface, and that was very worky. Okay, we already talked about my fa-fa-fa dude and my other dude and the awesomeness of making the last little dudes of straw made out of his friend. So we already talked about that. And then when I move through here, let's make sure I didn't miss anything that I want to talk about right now. Sanji, that kick. Sorry, pal, I'm human. Does a human burn like that? You ain't Lunarian. We already talked about that. Damn, boy, we went through some stuff. We did the thing today.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff early. We were out of order. It was fine. I like it better when we just do what we want.
I wish we would do it more. And I love the Momo moment. I wish to God he didn't have to sacrifice himself in that way, but I do love it. I think it's pretty fantastic. And come on, Momo, let's go back to Wano. That's where we end off on this, and it's so good. Tell me where we end off next time. I get to read it all, right?
You get to read till the end of Wano.
My brain talks so. I get to read to the end?
Yeah, the next one's the last one. We're reading till the end of Wano.
Okay, people, hold on to your tuxedos. Take out your bathtubs. Fill them with rice noodles. We're going to go some places.
Top 5. Wait. Should we start with drip? Let's start with best 2 drips of the arc.
Top drip, Black Maria.
Fair. She dripped so hard it dripped off.
I hate that kid, but it's good stuff.
You look good.
And you know what's weird?
What's that?
kind of feel like it's my main man, old Jim.
Interesting. Jimmy's
Like,
got
when
better swagger here.
there's something about his look that feels like, I don't know.
Next up, least favorite character.
Oh, least favorite character. Gee. Oh, that's kind of hard, actually. I mean, least favorite action, but I love that character, would be Queen. But I know everyone, you've all said it. I saw. I'll stare at it nonstop. But least favorite character, I didn't like Pepe.
You didn't like page 1?
Pepe is Poo Poo.
Damn, get wrecked, page 1. I honestly find it wild that page 1 is a member of the Toby Ropo instead of Hawkins, because I feel like Hawkins feels like way more of a threat than page 1.
Yeah, no, I've decided it's Pepe. Screw you, Pepe. Next.
Get owned, honestly. Top 5. Actually, Luffy on the tier list of Luffy's.
Oh, ooh. S.
You don't want to burn your S plus yet. We got one more.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm saving my S plus for my Sun King.
You keep saying Sun King, which is entirely different than what you've been predicting the entire.
I know. I'm comfortable. Okay, what else?
Top 5.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
I got this. Ready?
Yeah.
3 is Kamado. That's 3.
3, Yamato.
I'm gonna do a thing.
Okay. Is it a thing you think I will disagree with and try to disallow, or is it a thing you think you're going to be fine with?
I think no one can stop me.
Yeah.
I'm making Zoro number 1.
I want you to explain.
I have decided that Zoro is number 1 for the following reasons.
All right.
Zoro came in with, he's not that thinky usually.
True.
And when he comes in, he just goes hard with no reason. But in here, his King Haki was revealed. He did the most damage to Kaido, which is wild, just with his own self, not being backed up by others. He is the one who kept the faith in Luffy alive. He is the one who, when Luffy was taken to the ground in the midst of the fight, said, okay, I'm going to fight Kaido one-on-one. I'm going to stand on this roof and fight Kaido one-on-one, because all I'm going to do with my life now, if it means it, is die creating time for Luffy. And then as soon as he goes down and he is in a full body cast from full broken bones everywhere, all over his person, and he understands what intense pain means because he's gone through it when nothing happened, he still says, yeah, give it all to me right now and just let me get up again because I'm worth 2,000 men, and takes it and then rejoins the fight. He's the one that does the most cover work on the way up there. And I just think that for me, he's also number 1 because I'm thinking about it in terms of Straw Hats and the joy that I get from it. And watching his growth in this one and him move up so high gave me the most enjoyment.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I don't care.
All right. No. It's fine. Like, I have no issue with what you were saying.
Yep. Because honestly, my number 2 is Sanji.
Interesting. The Wings of the Pirate King.
Yeah, there's something I don't care. My number 2 is not Sanji. Sanji, you're gonna have a little Nami treatment.
We're Namiing our Sanji?
Because I realized it's actually Marco.
Okay. The guy who talks about the Wings of the Pirate King.
Yeah. And then number 4 is Sanji. Sorry, Sanji, but I'm not moving you out of Yamato because they are definitely number 3. And number 5 is Momo.
Number 5 is Momo. I respect this.
Yeah, Sanji doesn't give a shit that I moved him down. He's just like, whatever. I mean, like, and in this one, I'd like to do a top 10, because let's be honest, Nami should get a shout out. Yeah. I mean, my Bone Man should get a massive shout out. Robin should get a massive shout out. All of the Straw Hats in this one could just be called Golden Straw Hat Awesomeness, and then Usopp gets silver. And then, yeah... I loved when Who mentioned the sun god. Thank you, Angel. I was wanting to talk about that.
The first mention since Big Mom's flashback of a sun god.
I was like, oh my god.
The sun god Nika. Someone brought up a fun fact, which is Nika is the Japanese onomatopoeia for smiling.
That is a fun fact. Thank you.
I love how Who's Who goes from being the least interesting Toby Ropo member to the most interesting immediately on talking about his backstory, where he was a member of CP9, a rival of Rob Lucci, and was the one guarding the gum gum fruit when Shanks stole it.
Oh, I'm sorry. We couldn't talk about everything. This was a long
It's
section,
a big dead
but
section.
that was so
Mhm.
cool.
Mhm.
Hey, squishies,
Yeah.
you take care of yourself this week. You remember that you're good people, feel proud in your accomplishments, and take joy wherever it finds you.
Everybody, until next time, it's been lovely talking to you.
Squish-ons, squishies.
Thank you guys for being here. We love having you. Bye, everybody.